Jill from June Taylor. Did you ever want to add a zipper to a project or to your quilting project, but were a little intimidated? We have an innovative solution for you now called Zippity-Do-Done. It's a pre-sewn zipper that's actually sewn right into the casing. It comes in 7 different colors, and I'd love to show you how it works. To add a zipper to a pillow back, simply cut your pillow back in half, open the 2 halves, open the casing of Zippity, insert 1 half into the casing and top stitch, and flip over the other casing and top stitch. If you'd like to cover the casing of Zippity, simply cut a piece of fabric about 1.5 inches, sew that pressed edge right on the stitching line of Zippity. We have essentially covered our Zippity-Do-Done zipper, and that looks like this.
A fresh new star is on the horizon, the Go Star and Cross 10-inch finished block on board or bob die. This celestial die cuts all the pieces you'll need to create this stunning block in just one pass through any Go fabric cutter. From screen printed letters on the die board to specialized dog ears and easy to follow cutting and assembly instructions, this complex looking block is a snap to create for quilters of any skill level. Whether set straight or on point, helping you create dozens of projects like table runners, wall hangings, and quilts. Team it up with partners like the Go Setting Triangles 10-inch finished, the Go Mix and Match 10-inch finished block, or other bob dies to create a galaxy of personalized projects. With this die to guide you, the classic design of this block can take on a fresh, modern look, perfect for any season of the year. Because at AccuQuilt, we help you cut time so you can quilt more. Transforming your t-shirts into a quilt full of memories is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Which memories will you choose to cherish forever? Cut your own shirts or let us cut them for you. A lifetime of memories is now the memory of a lifetime.
Hello quilters, today we're talking about all kinds of bags to make and how to make putting zippers into them just a little bit easier. Hello quilters. I'm Erica Botker, AccuQuilt's creativity expert, filling in for the lovely and talented Pam Heller today. Thank you all for joining us. Don't worry, I'm still joined by Chris Marchini. He is still the co-host today. Hello, Mr. Chris. I'm so happy to have you here.
Thank you.
So I know one thing you've been working on, right?
Yes, I finished up my June Taylor lunchbox.
Yes. So we're going to talk about that a little later because we're talking about bags and zippers today. But first, let's take a look where everybody's watching from. Oh, Texas, Tampa, North Logan, Utah, West Central Illinois, here in the Midwest. Okay, temperatures are all over. You are from all over. Glad to have you here. We want to showcase some new projects from our intro video today. Let me take a look here. First up, we've got Laura S. Now, she's been making bowl cozies, and I love that fabric. Chris, look at that. It's got like vegetables and seed packets on it.
That'd be perfect for a bowl of soup.
It would be. And then the sunflowers are really bright and sunny.
Yes.
That sounds corny. But, you know, if you're from Kansas, you should be making sunflower ones. They're the sunflower state. Okay, next up, we've got Marie M. She's made a rag quilt. That's stunning. And she has appliqued the deer head onto it. Chris, have you made a rag quilt before?
I have not, but if I did, I would absolutely use the die because sitting and clipping all of those little notches to get that fluffy does not sound fun.
So here's my story about rag quilts. Before I started working for AccuQuilt, before I knew of such things as AccuQuilt, I made a rag quilt for somebody in the family, and then everybody in the family wanted them. And then pretty soon my thumb started to hurt, and I was like sleeping in a brace, and I couldn't con anybody else into trimming them all. And then about that time I came here and interviewed for a sales position with AccuQuilt, and I walked in, they brought me into the dream studio and they showed me the die to cut rag squares. And I said, okay, this is it. You have to hire me because I have to have this in my life. So I have a place in my heart for it. I feel like it brought me to AccuQuilt. Okay.
That's fun.
We have got a picture of the day and a question of the day. So here's the picture. Now, before you judge me harshly, this is 2 quilters worth of quilting and suitcase kind of supplies for 3 days crammed into the back of my car. I think there was more that, in all fairness, went on top of it. So my bestie and I go off at least once a year and quilt and stay in a hotel and go shop at different quilt shops and have our own little retreat and shop hop. And we take a variety of bags with us, as you can see. So that's the question. What kind of bags do you like to use when you travel? Chris, you can see I've got some of everything in there. What do you like to use?
I like having like zipper bags for like all the toiletries and little things so they
Yes.
don't get mixed up in the suitcase.
Yes, I do
have
too.
lots of them.
I've learned packing cubes with the zippers for longer
Yes.
trips. Those are helpful. But I like something that rolls. I like, for a suitcase, I want a roller suitcase, but you can see all kinds of, zipped, closed, stuffed open, all kinds of bags. All right, because we're all about bags today, we're gonna give away a very special prize. It's a 2-die set of dies. Can you guess what it is? Chris, I bet you know what it is.
I do know what it is. So it is the 2-die set for the boxed bag dies designed by Carolina Moore.
It is, and it's so fun, and we're going to talk about it, even though we're mostly talking about zippers. But, you know, you're putting zippers into bags, so you need the box by set in my book. Now, be sure you all register for future events on the AccuQuilt event page. It's under you'll find it under Discover on the website, and that's how you get your chance to win. Now, you also will get event emails to remind you to tune in to see Chris and Pam, or Chris and I, or Pam and I, or whoever is up here for the event, so that you won't ever miss an exciting tutorial or show. And Chris is going to announce the winner of the 2-die set at the end of the show. This is a super great prize. So today is a little different than most Wednesdays because we're not going to make just one thing. We're going to look at a lot of bags. We're going to talk about how to install zippers, because I know that freezes up a lot of people from making bags. Don't you think, Chris?
Yes.
I think you might be in that genre of people.
Yeah, zippers and I don't have the best relationship.
Yeah, but you make buttonholes, and I think buttonholes are really hard.
I've gotten better at buttonholes because I've had to, but I have a drawer full of zippers, like full of zippers that I bought when a local fabric store was closing out. And they've sat there for probably 5 years now, just waiting for projects, but I'm intimidated by them.
Yes, yes. Well, and I think a lot of people are. I come from garment sewing, so maybe, but you know what? I've been plenty intimidated by zippers in the past. Not so much now. I have a little tip that might be helpful for some of you. I'm going to show you a little later. I don't want to tell you how long it took me to figure that one out, but I'm going to show it to you in a little bit. But we're going to talk about Zippity-Do-Done zippers. So that's what this is. It is a zipper that is already sewn into a casing. So you can see right here. Here's the casing. Open on either side. there's the back of it, that you just slip your material in and stitch it down and you're done. You do not even need a zipper foot with this. This is an incredible innovation. I first learned of Zippity-Do-Done when we joined forces with June Taylor. This is one of their innovations, and it is fantastic. So it comes in 18-inch, it comes in kits. So if you get a June Taylor Quilt As You Go kit for a bag, you're gonna get everything you need except your fabric and thread in there. So you're gonna get a Zippity-Do-Done zipper in there. But you can also buy these separately. They come in 18-inch lengths. They're gonna come with 3 of the little zipper pulls on them, already installed on them. And they come in a variety of 7 different colors. So this is the pink, but they also come in white and black, red, navy, light gray, and camel. This is, like I said, this is the pink. So we're gonna talk about how to put these in. I'm gonna show you how to put these in. We're also gonna talk about how to embellish them because, you know, we've got some extra real estate over here on either side of it we don't normally have with zippers, right? So we're gonna talk about how to do that. Now, the easiest way, I mean, you can put it in and leave it just the way it is. So Chris, let's take a look at your insulated lunchbox, because I think you just put your zipper in, right?
I did. I did stitch it down with teal thread, mostly because I didn't feel like changing the thread in my machine.
And there you go. But it's a lovely design choice also.
Yes. And it's super easy.
Yes, it really is. I saw your video. So if you all don't already, you need to follow Chris on social media because he put out a video and you did the whole bag in one video. Okay, you did speed it up a little bit, but you did the whole bag in one video, right?
Yes. And it really only took me like an afternoon to make. It's not a very long project.
Right, right. So I grabbed some examples of it here in the studio too. So this is kind of like what Chris did. So this is just a basic, this is the white zipper, and sewed it with some contrasting thread. This has got yellow on it, so it might be a little hard to see. So that's just basic. Super cool, quick, easy, great to do. But here's another idea. I've got so many around here. Oh, here it is. You can also stitch it down. This one is done. It's stitched on with, you know, a regular stitch, but they've used a decorative stitch from their sewing machine in a contrasting fabric. And I think that looks really cute. It actually adds to the whole design of the bag to me this way.
Yeah, it goes great with the watermelons, like that.
It does,
scallop,
doesn't
like
it?
the watermelon rind.
It's just really appealing. So we're gonna set this over here. Okay, so then we have an example of one I hadn't thought of how to do this one. Well, let's see. I'm gonna show you a project bag too. This is one of the June Taylor project bags. And these come in a 2-bag kit with everything you need. It's got vinyl on the front, see-through vinyl, and your Zippity-Do-Done zippers. And when I made this one, I cut a strip of fabric with a strip die and just pressed it under, pressed the raw edges under, and sewed it on kind of like a ribbon. And I sewed it down the middle of it so you can see the peak of the black. It kind of gives it that flange effect. And just so you can see it. Chris, have you made any of these yet?
I have not.
You need these in your life. You really do.
With
And
as
this
many
has got our
projects as I
B&B
have.
hive on it.
So cute.
So
and
cute.
I love the striped fabric for the bee body.
There are so many cute fabrics out there right now. So I'm going to put this out here. Okay. That's another way to do.
One thing to mention here, just got an IM. So the 18-inch Zippity-Do-Done zipper only comes with 1 zipper pull.
Oh, I thought it had 3. The one I got had 3.
Huh. Is it only available in 18 inches or
Yes.
are there? Okay.
At this time, it's only available in the 18 inches, and I just got a package. This is of the white for this show, and this was the one. We're going to look at this one later, but then it had 2 more. So we'll have to clarify that with some of the product people.
Okay.
So.
Thank you.
Okay. So then this is back to the insulated lunchbox that Chris made, and this is a different treatment. I hadn't thought about this. So they did a strip of fabric but they made a wide strip, right? So they put in, I'm thinking they put in the Zippity-Do-Done, right, Chris? And then they took this wide strip and top stitched it on top over that, don't you think?
It looks like it, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they could have stitched this side. I guess this one could have been all together and then put this on. But this really then enhances that and becomes, again, part of the whole design of the whole project. And again, you've gotten away without having to put on a zipper foot and deal with some of the trauma involved with a zipper, right?
You're right.
So this is the insulated lunch tote. So if you're thinking, oh my gosh, that's such a cute bag, but you wouldn't have to use it for a lunch tote, right? It would work great for sewing supplies and cosmetics and so many things. But that's what this one is if you're looking for it. We've got some other examples. You also made one of these. Didn't you make a grab and go tote?
I did.
Do you have
right
it
here.
there? Oh, there it is.
I do.
Ooh,
So this one
that's,
travels around with me for all of like my toiletries and everything when I travel, and it's a great size.
they are a great size. I like that a lot. So here's one that was done with wrapping the end of the zippity in fabric. So you don't have that flange effect. It just went right, they sewed it down on one side and then just tucked the other raw edge under and stitched it down. So you just have like that ribbon effect, you don't have the flange. And then here's one more with a decorative stitch. And again, I love this fabric so much. A good reason for making bags is because you have a little bit of fabric that you just love and you want to do something fun with it. Don't you think?
Yes.
So here's another with the decorative stitch on it. Are we getting any questions yet?
We have some answers to the question of the day.
Oh, goody. Let's hear about bags.
All right, so Donna says, I have a collection of Vera Bradley bags, the quilted design, of course, and I keep a plastic bag in my purse because you never know when you'll need one. It's very
so true. That is very true. You can see a couple Vera Bradleys stuck in the back of my car there. Okay, couple more, then we're going to start zipping zippers. So this is the, I believe this is the Emily. It's like a fanny pack or a crossbody bag. It's got a nice long strap on it so that you could use it either way. And this again, you can really see well how they've just wrapped Zippity in the fabric. So you don't have that flange look, but it gives it a nice clean, really clean, sharp look. And the green really makes it, I mean, again, it really adds to the design, I think. Okay. And then another zipper. Okay, you mentioned toiletries. All right, here's the Quilt As You Go cosmetic bags. It's a 2-bag set. You get a big one and a little one. And they've done the zippity 2 different ways. This one's got a decorative stitch on it, and this one's actually just plain. They both look adorable, I think. So there's lots of different options if you want to gradually step into bag making. I think the Quilt As You Go ones are a great way to gradually get started with making bags. Don't you, Chris?
I completely agree. So I've avoided bags because they intimidate me, but the June Taylor kits make it so easy because it walks you through it. It's got everything you need. Because like with the strapping, I don't want to go and buy yards of it if I'm never going to use it, or buy, a bunch of more zippers that I don't need. So it's got just what you need for the kit. Add your fabric, add your thread, and you're done.
Now, not all bags, not all totes are zipped. Some are open at the top. We have those too. We've got a variety of those. There's the Charlotte, there's the utility shopper tote, Alexandra wine totes. But today, we're gonna take a look at Carolina's boxed bag die set. There we go. Designed to help you make bags, and we're gonna sew in some zippers. So these are Carolina's 2 dies. And one is designed, I am all cattywampus here. This top one is going to cut darts, and it's going to cut out squares to make those boxed corners on the bottom of the bag. And the second one has got 2 different curves to cut into your fabric if you need a curved corner. And she's got some really fun bags like this little one. This is one of the simple zipper bags, and it is a free downloadable pattern on AccuQuilt.com by Carolina. And she curved the corner and then put a dart in it. So you can barely see the little dart in there. Really fun. She put in a regular zipper. We're going to talk about regular zippers too. We have scraps in there to help it stand up. Little behind the scenes tip there. So we're gonna talk about that. This is another bag by Carolina over here. Love that houndstooth fabric. So this is another really cute one. Again, she's cut in a dart and put in just a regular zipper. I love this little houndstooth. She made it in black and also in red. And Pam and I were like fighting over them on the set. They're so cute. I know that it's hard to believe, right?
Right.
So let me show you how the box bag die works. And I'm going to do that with some different material today, because we've got some great different materials on the website that, quite frankly, I had been itching to get my hands on. So this is some really fun vinyl from So Hungry Hippie. And we sell it on our website, and this is the hot pink color. We have clear, we have a black, but I just really wanted the hot pink, I guess. So here is a look at a little zipper bag that I made with Zippity on the top. So I started with Carolina's simple bag design and her pattern. I just did the one layer because you don't need to line it, because then why did you bother to use clear vinyl in the first place, right? Mm-hmm. I added a Zippity-Do-Done at the top instead of a regular zipper. So I'm going to show you how I cut that out, because I was thrilled with how easily the vinyl cut on my die. So you can cut both of your corners. I've already cut this one. You can cut both of your corners for your boxed corner at the same time if you want to. So I'm going to just kind of fold mine in half like this. But I'm not going to crease it. Why am I not going to crease this, Chris?
Because you won't be able to get the crease out.
There you go. There you go. Then this works just a little bit differently. And I cut these at 1 1/4 inch because, again, I was following Carolina's pattern. So you can see that along the edge of the die, maybe you can't, but it's marked in 1/4 inch increments. And so you want to take the corner of your fabric and you want to line it up with the size that you want. So you line up both sides on 1 1/4, and then you're going to get your perfect square. Now, don't worry about this and this. It's just going to hang out over there. Now, I am going to be a little bit more vigilant, I'm coming over to the machine, on holding it down in place as it goes into the cutter, just because I don't want it slipping. And all I'm covering is just this little part at the bottom. Oh, I better turn on my cutter. And then I'm just going to leave this unfolded over on the side. And it cut just perfectly. So now I've got my vinyl. I'm going to show you how to work with your Zippity-Do-Done. So here's my bag. Here's half of my bag. So I've already taken my vinyl and just slid it in between, into the gusset, if you will, of this zipper. I'm going to do the same thing over here.
While you're doing that, we do have a question about the zippers.
Oh, good.
Can we cut the zippers off to a shorter length?
Why, yes, you can. Now, I should say that you can. However, you need to make sure that it is a plastic zipper like this is. If it's a metal zipper, that is a whole nother matter.
Yes. So with the Zippity-Do-Done zippers, they are nylon teeth, and you can cut them with any scissors, your rotary cutter. They're super easy to cut and sew over.
Yes, yes. I
But
just
yeah, metal
realized,
zippers, whole different beast.
yes, yes. I just realized I didn't cut this down to the right size. So we're just going to do this for demonstration purposes only. Pay no attention to the fact that it's wrong. Okay, so here's my little piece of fabric, and I've pressed the raw edges in. And notice that I'm using a binding clip here. You don't want to, here's your pro tip, don't use pins with vinyl, because once you put a hole into it, you're not getting that hole back out of it. So you're gonna slide this in. I'm put a clip right there. I'm gonna put a clip down here at the bottom just to kind of keep things together for me. It's gonna be okay. And here's the thing. We are just gonna take our time. It's not a rush. We sell binding clips on our website. These are very helpful for a lot of reasons in making bags. Don't you think, Chris?
Yes, I love binding clips.
I do too. All right, so now I'm gonna sew this down in two places, just like I did on the other one. I've sewed it down close to the zipper, and I've sewed it down out on the edge. So just like you were top stitching anything. Oops, I gotta find my foot feet. And now, just take your time.
While you're sewing that down, someone, let's see who asked this. Nina was asking, how large are the project bags? And I have
Oh.
the answer if you would like me to answer that.
Please.
So the project bag is a 2-bag kit. One of them is 18 inches by 18 inches, and the other is 16 inches by 16 inches.
Oh, thank you. I knew one of them was 18, but I couldn't remember if it was 18 and 20 or 18 and 16. Good to know.
We also have some more answers for the question of the day.
Excellent.
Debbie says, just call me the bag lady, LOL. She must love her bags.
That, you know what? I do too. One of my local quilt shops has a what they call their lucky bag every year, and you buy the bag, and then you get once or twice a month, you get, if you go into shop and you take your bag with you, you get a discount on something.
Oh.
And so I have one for every year, plus others. What other
Fun.
kinds of bags are people saying they like?
Let's see. Annette says she loves rolling bags with the smaller bags that slide over the handles.
Oh, yes. Good point.
So I redid my backpack for QuiltCon. I had some videos about that. I replaced the front panel.
Right.
And I meant to add one of those sleeves on the back so that I could put it on my suitcase handle when I'm at the airport, and I totally forgot. So now I need to go back and do that.
Oh, yeah, you do. That's really useful. That's the thing about my backpack that there isn't on there, and I miss that. I want that on there. Okay, so I sewed down one side. Now I'm just sewing down the other. And this actually is a zipper that I did cut down. And if you cut down a zipper, somebody mentioned that earlier, asking if they could. I'm going to tell you when you cut it down, cut it a little longer than you think you need it to start with, just in case, right? And then I'm going to say to sew across the ends, and I'll show you what I mean. Just to take away the possibility of anything, you know, nasty happening, like the zipper coming off the end.
Right.
So, get these out of the way. Okay, so when I cut it off, I then back stitch back and forth about 4 times across the end, just to make sure that my zipper would stop when it was supposed to. Now that's the other thing about plastic zippers is you can sew over them. You can cut them with your scissors and you can sew over them. So that is a great point and a great question. What else have we got going on while I get ready for my next zipper?
Let's see. Jenny says that she has a collection of June Taylor bags that she's made, one for each season or a big holiday.
Ooh.
And I have a few with my favorite animals, chickens, cats, and dogs.
Oh, how fun.
That
Oh,
sounds
she's
so
been
fun.
busy. Well, she probably is a Zippity-Do-Done pro then. So here's the first side of what I did with my cork. Now that I'm looking at it, I think I got it a little crooked, but never mind. We're talking zippers. So now here's the other side, and I embellish this with the cork. And the nice thing about this is, if you work it right, you can do your embellishing and your stitching it into your project all in one step, because I'm all about that. But I need to change my thread. All right, so give us some answers while I change my thread, Chris.
Let's see what else we have. Margaret also loves her rolling suitcases.
They're the best.
Carrie says roller bags and packing cubes. So she's also using those packing cubes like you have.
They're very helpful. They help keep me organized when I'm traveling.
That's, I find, especially on longer trips, very important to keep yourself organized.
Yeah. And those you could totally make those yourself, you know, but you are going to want zippers in them.
Yes. Let's see. 100 Proof Quilter says, I'm a mess and I always have a mix of bags when I travel. So in Oregon, they charge for grocery bags. Like when you go grocery shopping and have to get a bag, they charge, I think it's like 5 cents. But I have gotten in the habit, the back of my car always has all of our empty grocery bags. So I have like the June Taylor, I think it was the Sophie bag that I made a couple months ago.
Yeah.
I made Carolina's fat quarter grocery tote.
I love that.
I got one of those in there. And then just an assortment of reusable grocery bags is always in the back of my car.
You know, if you've ever seen us at a quilt show and gotten one of our Go Green bags, those work great.
Yes.
I have a collection. I have several of the Riley Blake vinyl bags. Those I like because they have a flat bottom on it. That's the thing about a boxed bag, is that you got that flat bottom on it.
Yes, it makes it so much easier to load and set it down somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah. So this one, the next one I'm going to work on is the same pattern. Okay, it's the same boxed corner bag by Carolina, but I'm embellishing the bag and the zipper with some of the Sally Tomato cork fabric that we have. And I just think this is super fun. It sews just like it's fabric. So I'm doing a lining on this one too because it's fabric, and I think you said in your video when you were doing the other that you like having a finished edge inside your bag, right?
Yes,
So,
and that's the thing with the June Taylor kits, the way they have you assemble it, all of the inside edges are finished. You don't have to go back and add a binding or anything like that.
right. So I've got my lining, little pink grunge here. I've got my outer fabric together. Together they're going to slide into my Zippity-Do-Done casing. So we're going to see me sew another one, because I have a feeling people are going, okay, wait, come back. What'd you do? Now I've got fabric this time, so that means I can use pins.
Yes.
Maybe, if I find them. Where's my... Oh! Okay. I know you're all thinking, how could she think without pins on the set? I just didn't realize they were there. Okay, so I'm going to put a couple random little pins here, kind of at interesting angles. So again, I've put my lining and my front together, wrong sides together, and I'm just sliding it straight in to the pocket, if you will, that the Zippity-Do-Done creates. It is so slick. You do not have to have ever touched a zipper before to be able to put in a zipper like a rock star with this. Don't you agree?
They are amazing.
Yeah.
So
I've got another one to sew in, so I'm just going to go, and again, I pinned my fabric together. I've got my cork I'm going to sew down at the same time, but I am not going to pin my cork. So just like working with the vinyl, I don't want to have holes in my cork.
Mm-hmm.
Have you worked with the cork before, Chris?
I have not.
I was amazed
But
at how slick it is to sew on.
speaking of the cork, Annette is asking, what stitch length are you using for the cork and the vinyl?
Okay, very interesting. I didn't change my stitch length at all. However, when I was doing, and I didn't really research stitch length for the vinyl, but when I was researching sewing with the cork, just because I hadn't done it before, I did see that they will recommend, I saw it recommended by some people, and Sally Tomato, who makes the cork, to lengthen your stitch length just a tad. But also that was, and I don't know if that's essential. It sews just fine with a regular needle. I didn't switch my needles.
That was another question.
Yep, I did not switch my needles. Okay, now here I am, and I'm right up against my zipper head. And before anybody panics and thinks, oh my gosh, you don't have on a zipper foot, what's gonna happen, right? I've got a zipper here, I'm gonna have that little, we've all done it. We've had that little curve out on your zipper when you're sewing it into something, because when you go past the zipper, you don't have to do that. Put your needle down in your project, grab your zipper pull, and zip it past where you are and keep on going. That way you are never sewing right past that zipper and you don't have to sweat it. And that works whether you're working with Zippity or a regular zipper, and I'll show you on a regular zipper next. All right, what else is everybody saying while I finish up this?
Let's see, Annette is asking, I purchased a few zippers, but I haven't used them yet. I have some patterns that involve zippers and zipper tabs. Do you prefer tabs or no tabs?
You know, it's almost kind of a design choice, and I almost brought in a zipper bag that I have out in my backpack that travels with me here for every show because it has my lip gloss in it. Chris knows that's essential because after rehearsal I said I have to go put my lips on. And I put tabs on it, and you can barely tell, but it was an earlier zipper bag that I made, and I just kind of made it up. I didn't really have a pattern I was following. What she's talking about, quilters, is having, instead of just having your zipper run off the sides, basically, of your project, enclosing either end with a tab of fabric, so that when your finished project, instead of just literally having the zipper go end to end like this, you put a fabric tab over it, then your zipper maybe just goes from here to here. And you have some fabric. And that could be matching or contrasting. So from that point of view, it could be almost a design choice.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think it may also depend on the kind of zipper you're working with.
Yes, yes. So if you're following a pattern, if you like how that looks, you're going to change the look if you don't follow their directions and put that tab on there.
Yeah. All right, let's see what else people are asking.
Oh, good.
Let's see. Oh, Pam has a question that I think we're going to get to a little later, but has the AccuQuilt along been revealed yet?
Oh, yes, we are. We're going to talk about that just a tick here when we're done playing with bags and zippers, aren't we?
Yes, so stay tuned.
Are you gonna jump in and make some blocks with us?
I am going to try. I wasn't able to join in on the last one, just because things are busy and QuiltCon and all that. But
What,
I'm going to
you've
try
got a
with this
life, Chris? Come on.
one. Yeah.
So what I've done with this one, I had some extra cork from my strip, and I didn't want to just, you know, leave it by itself all lonely. So I thought I would sew a tab in. But again, remember, we don't want to pin through our cork. So if I'm putting this together, the first thing that I'm going to do is take my zipper tab now and unzip it.
Very important.
Very important, because the next step is that you take these two pieces and these two pieces, and you're going to sew down either side and across the end, and then you're going to box your corners. And if you have not left yourself an escape route by unzipping your zipper, you won't be able to turn it so that it is right side out, and you will be sad, and you will be unsewing.
Yes.
So that is the point of that. So you be sure that when you go to put this together, you open up that zipper, and then your right sides are going to go together just like that, and you'll sew it together. All right, I think we've got enough time. We're going to put in a regular zipper, and this is going to work really similarly, but we need to change the foot. So while I go through the gymnastics of changing my zipper foot and my thread, Chris, why don't you tell us, if in case anybody isn't convinced, how the AccuQuilt system is better than rotary cutting?
I find it's much more accurate, and I make less mistakes when I'm using my AccuQuilt versus rotary cutting.
I love that. I do too. And thank you for admitting that. You're bold. You're bold and wonderful for admitting that. Yeah.
I was actually cutting a quilt last night, and I cut it half an inch too short because that's just the way my brain was working last night. And I'm like, oh, yeah.
You know, sometimes quilters, we get like something stuck in our head. And it could be like, I don't know, the number of apples you meant to put on your grocery order. I don't know. But the next thing you know, you've cut it, you're right, to the wrong length. And then you are a sad, sad sewist.
I'm usually half an inch off because I'm thinking like finished size versus cut size.
So
like, oh,
easy
this is
to
a
do.
a 6 by 6 square, so I cut it as 6 by 6, but I needed to cut it as 6.5 by 6.5.
Oh, yes, you did.
That's what always trips me up.
Okay, so I've taken off my regular foot, and I am putting on my little zipper foot.
So this actually plays into a question someone was asking. Bonnie was asking if you have to use the Zippity zippers.
You don't
So
have
we're
to
gonna
use
show
a
you.
Zippity zipper.
Yep.
It is easier. I just like using an AccuQuilt die to cut your quilt is easier than trying to rotary cut it yourself. Using a Zippity-Do-Done zipper is easier than putting in a regular zipper. But that doesn't mean you can't do it, right?
Right.
Okay, so let's show you how that is. Now, I'm gonna do kind of a similar thing. I'm gonna make a pocket for my zipper. I'm gonna sandwich it in between my outer fabric and my lining. Now with a regular zipper, okay, so you can see what I've done. I put my lining right side up. I laid my zipper down on top of it, okay? Yes, I put Lynn's monogram up on this because she's got kind of a special thing coming up. So we put Lynn's monogram on this. Then I'm gonna take my right side and put it right side down on top of my zipper. And I am gonna pin this in place. I'm gonna pin over here out of the way. Just get it out of the way.
So it looks like we did get confirmation that the 18-inch Zippity-Do-Done zippers do only come with one zipper pull.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I just hit the jackpot with mine.
Must have.
Must have. Okay. So thank you for getting that clarified for us. All right, so again, I've got my sandwich, you've got my zipper, and I use my zipper, you can feel where it is, as my and I set my tooth of my zipper foot right up next to it, so that's basically my guide. So you can see, you can't really see it, but you can feel it. And it's gonna not stitch right next to it, that's okay. I'm stitching this.
While you're sewing that, a little bit of a shout out for Pam. She says, hi from Ohio. Today is my birthday, so I am spending it doing all things AccuQuilt.
That is
And this is
fabulous.
Pam
Happy
W, not our.
birthday.
Yes,
Happy
happy birthday, Pam.
birthday. Oh my goodness. All things AccuQuilt. I wonder what that means. She's
Joining us for AccuQuilt Live, so hopefully she's using her AccuQuilt and sewing along.
She's sewing along. Very good. Okay, now here's the thing about the zipper. I've gotten 2/3 of the way. So I'm going to be okay on pinning that. I'm going to peek this open. I've got my foot down in my project. I'm going to raise my foot. I'm going to take my zipper. I'm trying to do this so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to raise, and I'm going to very carefully unzip so I get my zipper foot past the edge of my zipper, where my foot is. So now my zipper foot, the zipper, the tab of the zipper is back about here. It's past my sewing. So that means I don't have to fight past it. I think that's, when I figured out to do that, it changed putting zippers in for me forever.
Mm-hmm.
There's no rule that says you have to do that. And I was forever having a little bump in my zipper sewing.
When you get to the zipper pull gap.
Yes, yes. You don't have to do that. So now the fun part about this is that now we've got this. And again, now it looks just like we did pretty much with Zippity, right?
Yes.
But you do have an extra step. I've sewn it in. I like to then go back and top stitch along this edge to really get it nice and secure. And again, I can do that with my little zipper tip. So while I top stitch, Chris, let's look and check on bags that people like using and any last questions.
Let's see, we do have some non-bag related questions.
Okay, we can do that.
Lisa says, I'm working on a project that I followed Erica and Pam's advice and pressed my seams open. I am now ready to quilt the project. Can I quilt in the ditch if I have sewn it together with the seams open?
Sure. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, you can.
And then Toby was asking, I have a question about sewing machines. Is an embroidery machine good for quilting and general sewing?
It
so I think that
depends
really
on your
depends.
machine,
Yep.
right?
That's what I was going to say.
Go ahead, you take
'cause-
this one, Chris, because you probably have worked with more different machines than I have.
Okay. So I have an embroidery machine that is strictly an embroidery machine. So that one I wouldn't be able to do regular sewing on, but I could potentially quilt in the hoop, and you're just limited to the size that your machine can do in its hoop.
Right.
So there are some machines that are embroidery and sewing machines. So I would just look at the different features of your machine and see if it can do, a regular straight stitch in addition to the embroidery and everything like that. So every machine's a little different.
Right. So we have an embroidery only machine here in the studio, and I have a combination at home. So with a combination one, it's going to have an embroidery module that slides onto the machine, and then you slide that off when you're just doing regular sewing. The other thing that you can do with an embroidery machine, I don't know if you've watched any of our shows that we've done with our friends from Dime, Designs in Machine Embroidery,
Mm-hmm.
but they have software where you can piece in the hoop.
I've seen that. That's
It is
really
very
cool.
slick. It is very slick, and Ashley is a pro at it, so I would defer to her in all things. But yeah, it is slick. It is slick. All right, so now, see, I put in a real zipper. I didn't flinch. I didn't, I didn't cry. There were no tears or anything. I just put it on while we were talking. So it's fine. Then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to unzip my zipper about this far. Then I'm going to put my right sides of my outer, the right sides of my lining, and I'm going to sew the long sides, the short sides, then the box corners, and then I can turn it.
And on the short sides of the lining, you should leave an opening there, right?
Yes, you're going to leave,
'Cause I always
I'm sorry.
forget that part.
On your lining, sorry, you're going to sew this one all the way. This one you need to leave that little opening.
Yeah.
But sew yourself in enough that you can go ahead and box those corners.
Yeah. I can't tell you how many times I've had to seam rip my lining because I forgot to leave that opening.
Yeah. No, you have to leave that. I'm sorry. I was so worried about telling everybody to unzip the zipper, which you also have to do, that I didn't tell you that part. So sew in enough so that you can sew. So you're going to want to sew in about 1 inch.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're going to, when you box your corner, you're going to want to do like a 1/2 inch seam on that. So it's hard to show you, but yes, you're gonna be taking a 1/2 inch seam. And again, if you are just now starting, if this is your first bag project, follow your directions. They're going to take you every step of the way. All right.
Speaking of,
Yes.
Nancy's asking,
Yes.
Erica, do you have a favorite bag pattern to use with cork?
This was the first time I had used cork. And so I just used Carolina's pattern to get started with. This is the first one. I'm going to go home and finish this, or I stand here on the set and finish this, because I want to see how it turns out, and I want to see how it goes with this little tab too. But the nice thing about cork is you don't have to worry about finishing the edges. So you just sew it on top. You could put it, alongside the bottom. I don't know that I'd want, especially with this pretty print on it, I don't know that I'd want it on the bottom because I wouldn't want it to wear. I don't know how that would wear on the bottom of your bag, but I love how it looks. I'm going to use cork in some other things. Think about using them for like mug rugs or coasters.
Yes.
I can see a lot of applications for cork.
Definitely.
But this is my first foray into cork. All right, do we have any other questions or comments before we get to our big quilt-along announcement?
So Kathy just asked, can you sew the corners first before you sew the rest of the bag?
Actually, no, because, and I should sew, the way you put the boxed corner together, you need to have the finished edges done. You need these 2 edges sewn. Here, let me do that real quick. Don't pay attention to the fact that I'm sewing with my zipper foot. I'm just gonna sew like 1 inch.
Little bits. Okay.
On either
While you're
side.
doing that,
Yes.
Joni's asking, what do you do as you sew near the zipper? How close does your sewing come to it?
Oh.
So with the Zippity-Do-Done zippers, you can go right over it.
Yeah. I mean, with the plastic zipper, you can sew over it, and you will sew over it when you're sewing down this side. You're going to sew over that zipper, and that's okay because it's a plastic one. Now, if you use a metal one, all bets are off. Don't do that. That's how you break needles.
Yeah. Yes.
And other things. So in my fastest sewing ever, the reason why you want both of those sides is because to box that corner, you're going to pull those ears out, if you will, open up that seam, and then we're sewing across that seam. So you have to have that seam there. You have to have sewn that seam to be able to sew across it. And let me do that real quick. I think my zipper foot looks like it's about 1/2 inch, give or take. And when you are boxing your corners, be sure you backstitch to secure them. this is not, my foot's going, this is not what we were made to do. And I got a thread stuck. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, my thread got all knotted up, but this is going to show you the basics. So that's, with those seams done, then you can turn it and you've got your boxed corner. But you have to have
Wonderful.
that seam sewn so that you can box that corner. And you're going to box both corners on your outer, and you're going to box both corners on your lining so that everything fits and lines up.
Wonderful.
Okay, I think it's quilt a long time.
I think so too.
I think so. Okay, so we've dropped a couple of clues, Pam and I have, on the Facebook page. So if you don't yet follow the AQS Quilting Project Parade Facebook group, first thing you want to do is join that group, because we've let you know we've shown off our fabric. We've let you know we're using a cube. If you were really sneaky and read comments, you know we were using a 10-inch cube. But again, what's the beauty of a cube? You can use any size cube. The shapes are the same, they're just different sizes. So the name of our next quilt along project is it is the Go Simply Cubed Throw Quilt. And this is what it looks like. So you can see these are some great big blocks. They've got nice shapes. We're going to be talking about some great skill sets along the way. We're going to be using our 10-inch cube to make 15-inch blocks. We'll show you how that works. And this is a sample of one of those blocks. This is one of Miss Pam's. Here, should I show you this one? So this is Miss Pam's first block that she made. You can see we're using those cube shapes. Here is my first block with my fabric way. And here is the second block. And we're going to show you
I love
how.
the fabrics you chose.
Thank you. We're going to show you how to work with all these fun fabrics and colors, and you're going to have a lot of fun along the way. So if you don't have a cube and you were thinking about getting one, now's a great time. Get the 10-inch. You'll be all ready for this project. But again, you can use a different size. If you don't have a cube, you don't have a cutter yet, you can make it with traditional rotary cutting directions provided by AQS. You'll find them in the AQS blog and in our blog that I posted today. All right, so that is the next quilt along. We're going to start cutting our pieces on Wednesday, April 10th. So mark your calendar and go shop your stash, head to the fabric store, and I think you're going to love this project. Okay, Chris, let's announce our live winner for today. Drum roll for Mr. Chris.
So today's winner is Rachel R. from Astoria, Oregon.
Congratulations,
You won the
Rachel.
two-die set for the box bag dies designed by Carolina Moore.
Oh, I love it. I love it. You are going to love that too. All right. This month we have been celebrating March Machine Madness, so be sure to check out the special deals on Go Cutters before the month ends, and it's almost over. If you've been thinking about some new furniture for your sewing space, be sure to take a look at the great specials that Arrow Sewing has through the end of the month as well. Now, one last thing, don't forget, the March die to try is the Go Star and Cross. It's a block on board. Here's the block it makes. It's really fun. And as a block on board, it's only around for how long, Chris?
Just for this month,
Just
or while
for-
supplies last.
That's right. And you can only buy it directly from AccuQuilt.com or from your local AccuQuilt retailer. All right.
Very fun block.
There. Oh, Chris, I love that. Did you make that for the show that you and Pam did?
Oh, wrong way. I started it then, but there's a purple one for you.
Oh, look. I was just saying, oh, there's a purple one. I love it. That looks great. You can get so many different looks from this die depending on your fabric and color placement. It's amazing.
Yes, definitely.
Go to AccuQuilt and check it out on our website. So, any final words for us, Chris?
I don't think so. I think we've covered all of the questions for today. There were lots and lots of good comments and questions.
Oh, great. Well, on behalf of everyone here in the Dream Studio, Chris in his studio, me in our studio, and all of the rest of the team, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Thanks so much for watching. To learn more about your quilting craft, be sure to follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for live events every Tuesday and Wednesday. You can check out the events page on the AccuQuilt website for more details on upcoming shows. And if you're looking for even more inspiration, visit our blog for exclusive tutorials filled with tips and tricks. And remember, at AccuQuilt, we help you cut time so you can quilt more.
Join us next Tuesday as we unveil April's die to try and some adorable projects made with the die. And be sure to come back every Wednesday. Next Wednesday on AccuQuilt Live, Pam will be back with a special project for your furry friends, perfect for celebrating National Pet Month. Hope to see you there.